That was weird. I literally turned on the camera to start this vlog, and then that happened. Anyway, good morning. The time is 7:30 a.m. It is May 11th, and I'm going to be filming a day in the life of a school-based counselor / social worker today. I had this on my calendar, like when I planned out my content for the beginning of the month. I had it on my calendar that I would film this video today and then edit it tomorrow or Saturday and then release it Saturday. Except I got a bunch of invites for these meetings that we're going to talk about from the teacher, and so today actually isn't that great of a day to vlog, but it's okay because normally I fill my days when I know I'm going to vlog. I'll fill my days with, I'll pick a day where there's a lot going on, and then the video is so much going on and I'm checking in so much and updating so much throughout the day that I end up having a vlog that's like an hour long. So maybe today's video will be like 30 minutes. If so, I can definitely do these more often. So let me tell you what's happened so far. I got up around 7, which is when my husband gets up. I normally get up after him, but today I was like, get up. I'm not a morning person, but I'm like, get up, Shay, so you can start this vlog and, you know, do that whole thing, because I don't want to be, I couldn't do my normal schedule, which really requires me to get up, get dressed real quick and run out the door and then vlog. I don't know. I needed to get up in the event that I wanted to check in first or vlog any first and not run the risk of being late. Plus, I really got somewhere to be today. Anyway, starting out, what did I do? I woke up, I did my body care, and that could look different for different days, just by the way. Mainly it includes a shower. And then I brushed my teeth, flossed and brushed my teeth, so I did my dental care. And then I just took off my bandana. Oh, and I did a cold water plunge. I'm trying to work my way up to ice cold water plunges, but I'm not there yet. So I did a cold water one, and it's supposed to do some stuff like release some toxins and such. So I went to grab my camera, and now I'm here at my Vanity in my room. This is my battery operated mirror that I've been using for literally ever, and I'm about to do a little face care. So I'm going in with my Neutrogena Invisible Daily Defense, and this is the first thing that I do after that water plunge. It kind of depends, like some days I might feel like I need to moisturize or do something else, but for the most part what I need to do typically is add some sunscreen for sure. And I've actually been adding sunscreen to any body part that's going to be exposed, but I'm not going to do that today. We're just gonna stop at the face today, mainly because there's no real body part that's going to be exposed. I'm going to put on a cardigan over this in case I'm cold, which I will be, and therefore that would eliminate any body part really showing today. I am wearing this little bracelet. I've just been wearing it, and I'm going to go in with these earrings. I keep this necklace on at all times. It says Virgo. You'll never hear me talking anything about Virgo ever, because I don't really like pay much attention to it, especially now in my old age. Maybe you could have caught me when I was 10 years younger, but not now. But I do like buy things that say Virgo on it or whatever. All right, so that's the first thing that I do. Then I have to go on with some lip gloss immediately. And this is a lip gloss that actually someone sent me, but I don't know who it is. I don't know who the company, it was maybe an Etsy shop owner. This was years ago, but I'm trying to use the rest of it. So I just go in. She sent me a bunch of different ones. But yeah, I need to put something on my lips ASAP because they are dry AF. And now I'm gonna go in with the scent. And I subscribe to Scentbird, so I have a bunch of different scents, but I'm gonna pick one that's a little fruity today. And pro tip, people always ask, they're like, you smell good, but it's not overbearing or too much, it's just the right amount. And that is because when I know I'm gonna be around people, which is anytime I'm leaving the house pretty much usually, then I make sure that I am not spraying too much. So I'm gonna go in with this Burberry scent, and it's like an authentic scent. So the gag is I just get a little sample each month that I pay for. I pay for like this little sample. It's really a 30-day supply, so I love that. And if I spray too much, then I know myself. So I put 2 sprays on, and that is about all. I did 3. I did an extra one today. But anyway, that's first things first. And now I'm gonna go in with some lotion. I'm going in with this Jergens Skin Smoothie, only because it smells like spring and summer, not because I love it. In fact, I won't be buying it again. And I gotta put lotion on my hands because I wash them frequently. And I wash them frequently between when I'm doing my body care or hair care or skin care. Like, I just don't go in and touch everywhere with dirty hands. So I have to put on lotion. My legs actually won't be exposed. My maxi dress comes all the way down to my feet, but I'm probably gonna put some lotion on my feet, of course, but we're not gonna do that right now. We are going to move on to getting ready. So I wanted to kind of talk through what is happening today and like what's going on today and why today has turned out to be maybe not that great of a day to vlog my day. But what I'm not gonna do is talk you through what products I'm using, only because I literally just did a makeup tutorial in my May vlog. But I am going in with concealer and I'm going to conceal under my eyes. But I don't want to talk about this because I want to spend this time talking about what we're doing today. All right, so what we're doing today is a lot of bump up meetings. So my students who have IEPs, which is special education, IEPs fall under special education. Many people know that, but just in case you don't, that is what I'm talking about. So basically I work with this special education teacher at the middle school, and we have a decent enough relationship where she actually was over at my house on Friday, on Saturday for a party. But we have, it didn't matter if she was over at my house or not, or if we had a decent relationship. The fact is, it is now time, it is the end of the school year, and it is now time for special education teachers who are the team leads on the kids' IEP services. So they manage all of their IEP services and their IEPs and all of that. That's what happens here. I know sometimes some places, schools like colleges manage the IEPs, even social workers manage the IEPs, but over here, not around here, partner, around here, the special education teachers manage it because they're the ones who are providing their services. When they go to their classroom, that is where they're going to get their social emotional services. That's where they're getting their math services, their behavior services. So that's why they manage it. Kind of makes sense, but I do realize, I mean, I'm sure that's why they get paid more and all of that too, because they have more responsibilities than a general education teacher. But anyway, we have a bunch of transition meetings. And so what I was saying is, any kid with an IEP who is transitioning from one school to the next has to have what we call a bump up meeting or a transition meeting. And I have a lot of kids who are coming from her middle school, her class, who are in 8th grade, and they're going to come to 9th grade. And so we have these bump up meetings at their new school, which is going to be the high school, which is convenient because I happen to go to the high school on Thursday. So I don't know if somebody set that up on purpose, but normally they don't. I'm just one person that comes to all these different meetings, so they normally don't really pay attention to when I'm going to be there or whatever, because there are other people who are related service providers and who kind of pop in and out. But maybe somebody did take my schedule into consideration, but it's going to be convenient because I happen to be at that school today. But I have one bump up at 8:30, one at 9, one at 10, one at 10:30, one at 11, and that's it, and one at 11. So I have 5. So I have 5 8th graders coming from that classroom, that middle school, who that teacher is the team lead for, and we have to meet for each one of those kids. And the parents are invited. The kids are technically invited, but then they would have to leave their school for maybe 30 minutes or whatever. So it's kind of not even worth them doing it. And what we're doing in these meetings is we're just talking about their services. So the point here is just to inform the new school and the new team lead and the new principals and administration and everybody what services the child is receiving and kind of why. They could easily look at the IEP and go over it themselves and gather this information, but we like to allot time for that to happen. So that is what we do. My blush, I'm about to put on blush, and my blush fell apart when I was traveling, and so it's literally in a million pieces. And I just keep forgetting, and I keep opening it, and the pieces are flying everywhere, and they're staying in my carpet, which is fine because we take good care of our carpet. But yeah, it's kind of annoying me, but I'm putting on a little blush. Anywho, that's what's happening today. The only reason why I have a break between 9 and 10 and I don't have a 9:30 one is because she scheduled another kid who I actually don't provide services to for 9:30. I'm sure had she really thought about it, she probably would have scheduled him first or last and then scheduled all of mine back to back. But truth be told, 30 minutes, first of all, the meetings could potentially run over. So I'm not really concerned about, what I'm going to do for that 30 minutes. I'll go to my office, I'll type a couple notes or something. So there is a little gap, but it's only a 30-minute gap, and 30 minutes goes by fast. So I'm not really worried about it. But yeah, that's my day. Then there's another student who has a 504 at the elementary school, and they are looking to add my counseling services. So I have observed the student and did kind of all that I'm supposed to do on my end to kind of collect data and see if she is even a candidate for services. Because some kids, this is what teachers literally do not understand this, and it trips me out because I think I tripped them out. Counseling services are voluntary. So we could be dealing with a kid who absolutely needs counseling, which is a lot of different kids, especially kids who are referred for services for me. But any kid, any adult, any person in the world could be recommended for services or can be mandated to participate in counseling services or therapy services. But the fact is, I can't drag one of these kids out of the classroom. I cannot make them go. Their parents can't make them go. There's no consequence for not going, not on my end, not on the school's end. So they don't have to go. They don't have to go to counseling if they don't want to go to counseling. And people literally trip out about that. So the point that I'm trying to make is that a kid could very well qualify for services on all fronts, but they might not want to participate in services, especially if we're talking about like middle schoolers and high schoolers. So they could very well be like, actually, I don't want to, I'm refusing this service. People refuse services all the time. And so if they refuse the service, then they refuse the service. And so there's just no services. So basically, there are a lot of reasons why a student might not qualify for services or might not be a good candidate. And one of those reasons is if they're not going to attend their counseling services, if they're already saying that they're not. Of course, they could change their mind, then we can add services back, or add the services if the only thing that's standing between them and services is them wanting to do it. But if they don't want to do it, then there ain't no services to be had. So there's another meeting at 11:20. I have an 11 o'clock meeting, so that's at the one of my elementary schools. So I really don't even know. This is, like I mentioned, about a potential student who does qualify for services, for counseling services on paper, by the way. So I'm just going to kind of hear what they have to say, and just kind of check in with them and get some further information from them. But from what I've seen and observed in the data that I've collected, she definitely qualifies for services. And that meeting is at 11:20, which means that technically I am going to have to shoot over to that meeting really quickly. I could also just join the call on a Teams call, a video chat, but for whatever reason, which is a tragic reason, people really don't know how to work technology that well, and so it's really not, I do it sometimes, I join online, but truly some people really just don't know how to, some people don't even know what Teams is. Some new teachers and stuff. So it's really not worth my while relying on Teams and stuff like that. I normally just go to these meetings, and that's just that on that. But that's at 11:20, which means I'll have to run out of the other one probably early, because truly, even though I was invited to the bump up meeting first at 11, this one is really more important. They really don't need they'll be fine without me if I have to leave 15 minutes early, assuming it starts on time, of course. But normally I just attend meetings based on who sends me meeting invites first. I go to 7 schools, so as you can imagine, I get a lot of meeting invites. I do not hold any of these meetings. These meetings are just meetings that are held on behalf of my students that I have to participate in because I'm a service provider. Otherwise, I don't schedule any meetings. There's never come a time where I schedule meetings or that I ever would. My coworkers do not do it either, because we don't really have to hold meetings on behalf of the kid because we're related service providers. So that's kind of the rationale behind that. So next up, I actually have it on my schedule that I'm going to go to lunch at 11:30, but I don't know, because I'm technically going to be in that meeting. I don't know. And then I'm supposed to see a student at 12:50 and one at 1:10. and one refused last week, and he doesn't want to do services. He transferred in. That's the thing. He transferred in from a different state. And if a kid comes with something like counseling services, then we have to provide them with a comparable service, which of course is going to be my service, because this is only counseling service or anything comparable that we can provide to that student. And we also have to provide comparable services for everything else that they have and comparable accommodation. So even though different school districts are different, basically if a kid transfers in and they have an IEP or 504, then we have to provide them with services that are comparable to their other services. And that's kind of how that works. So even though no one asked him if he wanted to, basically I just got an invite. It was about some random kid. I didn't know who the kid was, but I talked to the sped teacher or the team lead, and she was like, yeah, he transferred in from wherever and he had these services. And so, you know, in an effort to give him comparable services, we thought we might include you. So I came, never even met with the kid, didn't know who the kid was, just saw what he looked like on paper. Basically, his mom did come to the meeting and she told us about him, but nobody ever asked him and did the normal steps about if he was interested in counseling services. So guess what? He came to one counseling service to learn about counseling, and he has refused. He might have came to one more, and then he's refused everyone after that. So basically, he's probably going to refuse. Why? Because he doesn't want counseling services. He says he doesn't need it. He's perfectly fine. He doesn't have any problems. And the fact is, he's actually right for the most part. He is very obsessed with gaming and cell phone, and so he tries to rush through his work so he can try to get phone time or computer time, but and he does get frustrated. But outside of that, he doesn't actually have any of the behaviors of most of my other kids. You know, he's not getting in fights, he's not getting kicked out of class, he's not doing things that are really making it difficult for him to access his learning, because he accesses his learning quite well. So he's not having any major issues since his transfer in, which has been about 2 months. So the fact is, he very well, when we talk about counseling services and these services that I provide, what we're really looking at is, you know, what would be the impact on him on the kid accessing their learning in the absence of counseling. And a lot of my kids have such social and emotional struggles that they can't access their learning, which is a common thing, that kids cannot access learning. I didn't do my bottom one, did I? Cannot access learning, the learning part of their brain, if they're dysregulated, severely dysregulated. And so the fact is, he can access his curriculum and learning just fine. So he really probably shouldn't have services. So I'm probably going to eventually call his mom. Maybe if he refuses. Normally, I mean, it's the end of the school year, so I'm not really worried about it. Truth be told, I might care the next school year, but normally what I do is if they refuse 3 times in a row, like I said, there's no consequence, but I need parents to know that their child is refusing. I feel like they have a right to know what their kid is doing at school when it comes to me and my services, you know, in particular, because that's all I can control. I don't know what's happening entirely in the classroom and stuff, because I don't spend a whole lot of time in classrooms. I'm seeing students. That's what I'm employed to do. I'm only in classrooms when I'm going to get the student, when I'm dropping them back off to class, if I want to observe any, but otherwise have to rely on teachers for those accurate classroom reports. So yeah, I'm probably going to drop him from services because he doesn't want services to begin with. Easy fix. Just drop him from services because he doesn't have any data right now that supports that he actually needs counseling and cannot learn the way that others are learning in the absence of counseling. So that's that. But that's supposed to happen. So I'm supposed to see 2 kids at 12:50 and then 1 at 1:10. And then I have another meeting, which is an IEP meeting for a student who's homebound. So he's getting his learning at home. It is time for his annual IEP review. And so that meeting is at 1:50, from 1:50 to 2:20. And even though he is technically homebound, whenever we have meetings, he and his parents or whomever can come to us at the school, because that's what the expectation is, that everybody involved will attend the meeting in person. So I've never met with this kid. I don't know how he's doing. I don't provide services to him. The reason why he is the reason why I'm invited to this meeting is because I was invited to a meeting a few months ago before he went to homebound, and we decided, because he was going to homebound and he wouldn't be having trouble accessing learning in the homebound setting, and due to a bunch of other factors, we wouldn't start counseling just yet, because I really didn't have any data. Couldn't observe him. I couldn't go through my normal steps. So I can't provide services to this kid if I don't even know what's going on with him. I can't just be in the meeting and be like, yeah, let's do it, because I hadn't even laid eyes on him until then. So I don't provide services to this kid. I might in the future. And so basically, because I'm a might, and because there was a referral, and because I did chime in last time, and I kind of know what's going on a little bit, I'm going to attend this meeting to get any updates. I literally forgot all about the kid until I got the invite. But that's what my day is supposed to look like. I'm about to wash my hands, put lotion on my feet, and like finish up here, and then I'm going to show you what I'm wearing today, and then show you what I'm packing for work, and then we're going to head there, because it's 7:51. Where I'm going is like 15-ish minutes away. I need to be there at 8:30 for my first meeting, but I'm going to try to leave at like 8 so I can be a little bit early. So anyway, I'll be right back. So here's my OOTD. I have my Marc Jacobs bag, which is a new addition. I'm wearing this floral, almost floor length dress. Have on a little makeup, of course, and then I'm wearing this white cardigan in case I get cold. And then I have been loving my Simple Modern cup, which is much better than the Stanley, by the way. But I'm gonna go to the gym directly after work, so I'm gonna pack a gym bag. I'm not packing a lunch because Subway is having this buy one get one foot long for Teacher Appreciation Week, which shout out to you if you're a teacher, you are appreciated, or if you work in education at all, because it's rough out here in these streets at times. So I think I'm gonna get me a sub on my way to or from that other meeting. Assuming I go. I really don't have to go, but I should probably go, because it doesn't leave me time for an adequate lunch, which is going to stress me. But I don't have lunch packed, which I normally do. So this week we've just been taking advantage of the teacher appreciation deals. But I'm going to pack a few things downstairs in my backpack, and then I'll show you what that's all about. So just to give you an idea of what I'm carrying nowadays, it's a lot. So this is my purse. It has my iPad mini in there, and then all of my essentials like my wallet and my badge and my cell phone right now. And it has my glasses, because I wear glasses now. And it has lotion and keys and that kind of stuff. So that's my main handbag that I don't carry with me anywhere at school. This is my gym bag. It has in here a shirt, a top, some undergarments, and some sneakers. So that's for the gym. Also, I have been into trying new types of drinks and such, and so I am trying this Suja brand of drinks, and I've tried pretty much every one except this one. They've all been good. They're low calorie, relatively low sugar, kinda, I don't know. When it comes to fruit, you pretty much can just guarantee that there's gonna be some sugar in there, which is perfectly fine, but I just don't want you to think it's low sugar, or super low carb like this one. This one has 3 grams of sugar, no added sugar, also low carb. So I've been drinking these with lunch as like a fruit or vegetable replacement sometimes. And then I've been drinking this as a snack, and then I'm taking a banana and some peanut butter for a snack. And like I mentioned, I am likely just going to go to, where am I going? Oh, to Subway or to Firehouse Subs. They're kind of both doing a similar deal, and get some food, and I'll probably give the free sub away to a teacher or something like I did yesterday, when I think I just learned about it on Tuesday, and then we've been taking advantage of it ever since. So I'm gonna put this one in here. As you saw, I'm gonna be in meetings all day basically, so that's why I'm bringing more snacks than usual, because honestly, when I'm up and moving around, I feel like I'm not that hungry, but as soon as I'm seated, that's when I get hungry. So I'm gonna put my snacks in here, or my one snack in there, and then I'll probably refrigerate those when I get there in the refrigerator closest to where the meetings are gonna be held. But yeah, I'm gonna take this bag, which is my backpack. It has my laptop and some counseling supplies in here, and my personal laptop, which is my Apple iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard. I'm taking my gym bag, my purse, and then oftentimes I do take a lunch bag as well. And you guys have seen that a number of times, but I normally take that. But since I don't have lunch today, I'm not gonna take it. But I am gonna fill up this cup, which I normally drink from it at night. So it's a good amount of water in there, but I'm gonna put some ice in here and fill it up. So when I finish it, I'll know that I consumed 40 ounces. So when I go to fill it up again, I'll just kind of always know kind of where I'm at. So I just started off at the top. I fill it up to the brim every morning is what I'm trying to say. So I can keep up with how many I'm drinking, because I try to drink 2 of these per day. At least 1, but let me fill this up. Okay, so I am in my office now and I just got here. It is 11:36. So I had meetings, like I mentioned, until 11:30 a.m. and then I just ran up here. Now my meeting at 11:20 is for the student who isn't quite on my caseload. And I normally try to go to meetings on time, but I had already told them, I already had meetings scheduled all day today, and that one would probably run into the meeting and that I would either join on Teams or drive there if the meeting had, lets out early. So I'm here, I have my work laptop and I'm trying to get it on, and then I'm gonna join the call via Teams. At this point, I'm like 15 minutes late, so it's not too bad. And I'm gonna put on some lotion because I just used the bathroom and I have to put lotion on my hands. COVID has my hands looking real crusty. I recently got this from Bath & Body Works. It's the Among the Clouds. So I'm about to jump on this meeting call, and then my 2 special education teachers need to talk to me. So I am waiting up here in my office for when they come to talk to me. Chances are they're gonna run into this meeting, so I don't really know. I don't know how long this meeting is gonna be. So I might be doing this meeting while they are coming to visit. So I'm gonna join Teams now. So we use Microsoft Outlook, and I think there's a Teams link. Let me see. If there's no Teams link, then there's nothing for me to join. There should be a Teams link in the event that people need to join via Teams. There is. So I'm gonna join this. And it says waiting for others to join. I don't know if they started yet. I don't have cell phone service. I'd have to go all the way. I could try to email someone, or I could go to the workroom where there is a telephone and then try to call into the school, call the main office and tell them that I'm on Teams, because I'm probably the only one that's gonna be on Teams. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Because I could email them, but there's no guarantee that they are going to get my, oh, there it is, okay. Hello? Oh, I'm on mute, or I can't hear.
Out of the classroom, and really she wants to talk. If she's not in that frustration phase, she just kind of wants that interaction.
Okay, check in. It is 12:46, and honestly, I'm not really sure about this call because my internet here is wishy-washy, and it ended. Basically, it stopped my call or disconnected it. There's a lot going on. My what is this? My Apple iPad Pro, which I use as a laptop, doesn't automatically connect to the school's Wi-Fi, so I have to use my school computer as a hotspot, and then I connect. And that's also how I connect my phone, so I can talk to people if I want to talk to people. So anyway, it's 12:47. I have been in a meeting before it shut off, and I'm trying to reconnect and it won't reconnect. But I was in a meeting since about 12:30. Of course, it started at 12:20, and it was still going, no, at 11:20. It started at 11:20. I joined about 11:30 or so, and it was still going on up until it shut off. But I keep trying to join it, and it will not join. So at this point, I really don't care to join, though, to try to join again, so I'm kind of over it. So anyway, my teacher friend came, and I had to talk to her about some things, and I talked to my other teacher friend, and we talked about some things, and now I just placed an order for Subway. There's a Subway really close by, so all week, for Teacher Appreciation Week, although anybody can take advantage of it, they're doing a buy one, get one foot long. So I ordered me one, and then I also ordered my other teacher friend one, so I will hand that to her. And we have a meeting together, and that's who I have the meeting with at 1:50, by the way. So 12:50, I have not eaten. I haven't taken a lunch break. I haven't had time to sit, think, breathe, none of that. So I'm about to take a lunch break. And then honestly, by the time that I get back, it's going to be time for that next meeting. And that's going to be pretty much it for my day. But I do have a few questions. Let's see. My order is going to be ready for pickup around 1:05. It'll literally take me 5 minutes to get there. So let's answer a few questions that I got from Instagram. And if I haven't made this clear already, the purpose of all of those meetings from earlier, those transition meetings, was to just make sure that the services that are in place are still going to be applicable to those eighth graders coming into ninth grade. So we had to just go through and make sure their behavior service minutes were correct and their math services, and make sure their goals were correct. So that is what we did. So when we transition them, first of all, it won't just be like a shocker. Like, here's this kid's IEP. Here you go. Hope for the best. We like to facilitate that transition and help with that. And some of the kids came today. Their parents, some of them came. I think maybe only one or two didn't come, but we had a pretty good turnout for that, I guess, if you will. So as far as some questions that I have gotten, and while I'm pulling these up, that meeting that I was just in that may or may not still be going on was an annual 504 meeting. And the purpose of that was to just kind of review the students' 504 plan to see if we needed to update any accommodations. And of course, we added my services. So now officially, I will be providing counseling services to that student starting next week on Tuesday when I go back to that school. So we will start with individual one-on-one counseling sessions, assuming the child is receptive to it. Now, she's only in first grade, so likely she will be receptive. Normally, it's some of the middle schoolers and high schoolers who are kind of over counseling and don't want to talk to people about what they have going on and stuff like that. Normally, the elementary aged kids are with it. So we're going to try that out and see how that goes. But one question that I got is, do services continue in the summer months? Maybe not you specifically. And the answer is technically yes. However, the kid has to be in summer school. And they have to be in summer school, and oftentimes kids aren't in summer school. So when there are a few students in summer school, then one of us can volunteer to provide the services, but oftentimes our kids aren't going to summer school. It's just really not even a real thing for a lot of the elementary and middle schools, I feel like, but middle schoolers, but I do know a lot of the high schoolers will go to summer school, but they can continue on into the summer if they're in summer school. Another question is, I would love to know what types of activities you do with the kiddos. So I do strictly social and emotional learning. I do mindfulness, all sorts of different mindfulness activities. I look them up. I have card games that the district bought for me that I picked out from Amazon. I did a haul of all of my different supplies, probably in my March vlog or my April vlog, but I got a bunch of new supplies. Or maybe I was just showing you in my new backpack. I was showing you how I was packing all of those, but I did a whole video or a whole segment on those. All types of different coping strategies, talking about deep breathing. Sometimes I do crisis management, and I do some activities within that setting. But basically all social and emotional learning, pretty much all related to self-regulating and coping. So I look up things on Teachers Pay Teachers. I look up other different activities. I come up with activities of my own sometimes. I don't have like a outside of all the card games that I do have, maybe I'll try to link it down below. I do have this folder that I've been putting different activities in. It's kind of like my bank. I think it's a folder on my iCloud. So maybe I can try to link it. But basically, I just look up social emotional learning activities. Sometimes I just talk to the students and teach them and help them that way rather than doing some type of activity. But that's basically what I do. How do I find the energy to do all of these sessions back to back to back to back to back and not be burned out and kind of just fatigued from having all of these different meetings and sessions back to back? And I actually try really hard not to overcrowd my schedule. And if I do go back to back, I probably only do that for 2 or 3 kids, and then I take a break. Like on Monday, I did 3 kids pretty much back to back, I think, or maybe I did a group session on Monday with those 3 kids, which also counts as a counseling session, individual or group. And then I did my notes, and then I went to lunch. So I had about an hour and a half break from students. And then I did do a group session at the next elementary school that I went to, and that was 20 minutes. The other group was 20 minutes too. Then I took like a 10-minute break, and then I did another student. Then I did a 504 meeting on Teams at that school. So basically, I tried to purposefully break up my day. I schedule in my lunch, and I really try to leave at least 10 minutes in between each session to complete my note. I don't have to complete the note immediately after the session, but even if I don't feel like doing the note, at least I can give myself a mental break. And if I'm inside all day, which I typically am, that gives me the opportunity to go outside, get some fresh air, use the bathroom, get some water. I am not a person who works my fingers to the bone at all, so you will not get that from me, but that's pretty much how I deal with that, is that I leave time in between each session for notes and for just taking a breather, because the fact is I don't have to go back to back to back. If I choose to, then I can, but I don't necessarily have to do that. There's nothing that says that I need to do that. The only time I would even do that really is if I have a lot of kids, which I started out my first school year, last school year, with like 50 something kids. It was out of control, which is why I was about to quit, which, I mean, I'm always kind of one foot in and one foot out when it comes to any job, but I did not think I was going to make it to this new school year, but thankfully the summer was good. But that caseload was actually double that of some of my coworkers, and it was probably at least, like, my caseload right now is very manageable. I have 30 something kids, almost 40, and that was 50 something. So as you can imagine, going to see 50 something kids across 7 different schools, and I go to see them in person. So, and then I have to go to all these different meetings and stuff. So that was a lot of work, and I was barely hanging on. But unless, and even if I did, if my caseload went above 45 or to any level where I couldn't really manage it, then I would have to bring that up as an issue. Because what I'm not gonna do is literally work from the time I step foot in the door, or the time that I clock in until the time that I clock out, meaning, or be in sessions rather, during that time. I still have to collaborate with teachers and other things. So I would say a manageable caseload is a max of 40, anywhere between 25 to 40 is plenty. Anything above that, which mine was, is very chaotic. I was barely hanging on, like truly. In addition to everything else that annoyed me, having such a large caseload was chaotic. But I'm trying to get my internet back working. Okay, I think it's working. So let's see. Okay, they're building my food now. Like I mentioned, it's like a minute away. Probably not a minute, maybe a couple minutes. So I'm gonna head out now to go get my lunch, and I will eat that. And it's 12:57, so I'll get that and be back by like 1:10. And then we have that meeting at 1:50. So I'll have about 30 or 40 minutes when it comes to a lunch break. You might consider this to be the start of my lunch break, but you know, it's only been a few minutes. I was trying to see when I ordered the food exactly, but I can't imagine. Yeah, it's been about 10 minutes since I ordered the food. So anyway, I'm gonna go pick up the food, and then I will check in with you guys when I get back. Okay, so it is 1:22. I am back from Subway. I just went to pick up our subs, and I just dropped off the sub. I forgot to tell y'all, today I also got, well, today I got invited, not also, I got invited to like dinner and drinks after work tomorrow, but I'm hanging with one of my friends already, and I pretty much just work around her schedule whenever we're hanging out. We hang out probably once a month, twice max, usually. I'm not really a big, I know this probably sounds crazy, but I'm not a big spend all my time hanging out with people all day, every day kind of thing. Like, I like hanging out with people, but it's too many people to keep up with and hang out with. So I do what I can. But anyway, let me turn this down. So we have had that on the schedule for a while, so I'm not gonna try to cancel it. I might try to make it to both things. That would be cool. Anyway, I just got back from Subway. I'm having an Italian BMT. It is 1:23. I went from all those meetings, which were all jacked up, by the way. Like, the times were off, and basically we ended up going straight through to coming upstairs, immediately hopping on the other meeting that I was late for, and then waiting for that to be over so I could order my food. Even if I would have brought my food, I guess I could have tried to eat it during the meeting, but I don't really do that. I don't really know why, because I was here in virtual I was planning to be there in person, assuming that the meetings from earlier were going to end early. I don't know why I thought that. So basically I was planning to be in meetings in person all day. So I wasn't gonna be able to eat until after that meeting anyway, but I also thought I would probably be able to eat around 12 when that meeting was supposed to end, but it ended up taking, yeah, it's on my calendar, let me see, from 11:20 to 12:20. So I was gonna eat at 12:20 on my way back here after I left that other school, but yeah, that didn't really work out. So yeah, I had to go get some food, and your girl's hungry. I'm gonna eat my Italian BMT and drink this for the first time. I just have been liking drinking these little fruit replacements, especially this week when I'm taking in a lot of vegetables on my sandwich, but not a lot of fruit. So I'm gonna do this. Then I'm gonna take you guys on a little tour, and then I have to be downstairs at 1:50 for my next and final meeting, and who knows when that will end, probably closer to the end of the school day. But either way, I will eat this, show you guys a quick tour if at all possible. Possibly might even vlog a little bit tomorrow as well, just because today was so, I know, because then this vlog would be like a million years long. But I was thinking of doing a little vlogging tomorrow if I don't get to finish today. I might shoot for that. But anyway, I want to show you guys a little tour, and then that's gonna be pretty much it, but I have to eat first, so I'll be back. Shout out to E. Michelle. I've been watching her while I have been stuffing my face, but I finished my drink and zoom out. My sandwich. Now I'm about to pack up everything. I might sit my camera over there while I pack, or maybe not. But I'm about to pack up everything, and then we have literally 8 minutes to head down for our 1:50 meeting. But first, let me show you my room for this year. I basically have a different room each year. I've only worked here 2 years, so do with that information what you will. But I do have this bigger, it's like a little classroom. I don't use any of the computers or a lot of these desks and such, but sometimes I do groups, so I will need, you know, enough space for like 3, 4, or 5 kids, maybe not this much. So my room definitely could be half of this size, but this is what we are working with. We have a flag over there, and we have some books and things. This is my desk, and I don't really have a lot of stuff, but I do have a printer here, so I don't have to leave to print. I have a desktop. That's my work laptop. That's my personal laptop. And then that's the rest of my stuff. So this is my little room. I don't ever use that smart board, but I just kind of come in and throw my stuff down here. Well, I'm about to pack up, so I don't normally just throw it down like that. And then I just sit there the whole day, and then my students will sit here when I'm working one-on-one with them. But yeah, we do have to pack up and go to this meeting downstairs. By the way, I did just get 2 new referrals, one for one of my elementary schools, and that referral came in from the assistant principal, and then I got another one for one of my middle schoolers, and that came in from one of the assistant principals. So anybody can actually send in a referral, but before they send in a referral, they do have to make sure that the student will qualify for services. There are some prerequisites, if you will, and they do need to double check that. Oftentimes they actually don't, but the fact is the process is actually quite it's a serious process. It's not just, oh, this kid needs counseling and then the kid's receiving counseling. They have to really warrant these services, mainly because there are only 5 of us across 42 different schools, I think. And right now we can only, I mean, this is just what it is naturally, but we can only accept the students and serve the students who are really meeting the requirements. So they can't just barely meet the requirements typically, because then that's taking up space for students who could be receiving, for other students who really need the service, if that makes sense. But anyway, let's pack up. It's 1:45. We need to be downstairs in 5 minutes. It'll take me probably 2 or 3 minutes to walk there, so I have 2 minutes to wrap up, but I'm thinking of not wrapping up and just going straight there. But I think I'll pack up. Let's pack up. So my work day is officially over. For that last meeting, it really didn't go very smoothly. The parent hung up on the teacher, on us, because I don't know why, but it was a lot going on. It was a lot. Like, she hung up. So we never really got to finish the meeting. So I'm not really sure what's happening there. As I mentioned, that student actually isn't on my caseload. I was going to start working the referral when I got it, or moving through the referral process, I should say, when I got the referral some months ago, but then it was determined that he would receive homebound services. So I couldn't observe him. I couldn't do any of that stuff. So I'm like, well, we're going to have to revisit this when he comes back. Well, he comes back next week. So I will work the referral starting next week. I'll do some observations, collect some data, that type of thing. Really, I need to be looking at about 6 weeks worth of data. So school will be over in about 3 weeks. So I'm not really going to get very far in my process and in my collecting of data. So yeah, I don't really know. The reason for this is because to go through such a long process to add these services, you want to make sure that the kid actually needs the service. You don't want to just be, maybe something bad happened with the kid or in the kid's life, and then maybe a week or two after that, or maybe for a week or two, they demonstrate some negative behaviors or some disruptive behaviors, and then they go back to their baseline or how they were before the incident or something like that. So you don't want to just be adding services at the drop of a dime. You want to have at least 6 weeks worth of data. We want to have at least 6 weeks of data to support that the child is continuing to struggle and that they're not actually improving in their social and emotional development and in their behaviors or with their behaviors. So that's kind of part of the reason. But if I didn't mention it already, earlier today, we dismissed one of my students from counseling services because he no longer needs them. He met his social and emotional goal, which automatically means that his counseling services are no longer warranted because I actually work with that goal. So whatever the kid's social emotional goal is, I help to support that in a one-on-one setting. So if he met that goal, then that means he no longer qualifies for counseling, because if he doesn't have a social and emotional goal, that means he doesn't have any major social and emotional struggle. That means he doesn't need to come see me for counseling. So we removed services. Then we also dropped services for another student because for the last year and a half, I have a year and a half worth of data. That's a lot. That suggests that he isn't interested in counseling. He refuses most of his sessions. He says nothing is wrong with him. He's perfectly fine. He doesn't attend his sessions. He has no interest in it. The only time I can remotely get him to participate is if I'm doing a group, and even then he is doing everything, but he's on his phone, on the computer, doing everything and not listening to the directives that are given to him to put up his phone or to put up his computer or whatever. So he just puts his head down, stuff like that. I can't drag a kid out of the class to go to counseling, nor can I lift his head up and tell him he needs to participate in the group session. So we just removed services. And then though, we added services for the first grader in that meeting that I attended before this last one, in that 504 meeting. So basically I dropped 2 and added 1, and that's kind of how it works. Drop 2, add 1, drop 2, add 1, drop 2, add 2. So that's how my caseload pretty much stays the same, because I'm always, kids are completing services or completing their goals and not needing services anymore, or they have a long history of refusing, and so we just remove the services. And so kids are having the services being removed, and then other kids are having the services added. So it's just a constant ebb and flow. But I will say that the kid who is on home base and who I just met he definitely seems as though he's going to qualify for services. But honestly, he's been at the alternative school and here and there and everywhere, and then the last few months he has been receiving home base services. So I don't even know what his baseline is right now. So he probably he might qualify if his present levels now are similar to what they were at the time of the referral, but no one will ever know because he hasn't attended but maybe 3 of his virtual sessions, and no one's really seen him in a few months and stuff. So who really knows? But I'll work that referral starting next week when he comes back. But that's pretty much my day. Today was a pretty hectic day, very chaotic. But now I'm about to head to the gym and I am going to work out. I have my gym bag and all of that. And then I'm going to go home and take a shower. Might get in the pool with my husband. Might just get in bed. And then tomorrow I'll be back here at the same school. And I have a lot of kids to see. I didn't see any kids today individually, so I'm gonna have to try to see all of my high schoolers tomorrow. So tomorrow is gonna be even more hectic than today, and I am hanging out with my friend after I leave work, so that's good. And then I also was invited by one of my sped teacher friends, to go to dinner and drinks with her and some other folks, or maybe one other person who I know. So I may go with them if I can tomorrow, but I might not. But that's my day. Hello, the time is 6 p.m. I know I said I was leaving and I said goodbye to you guys and all of that, but I left the gym. I'm leaving the gym now. I've been here for a number of hours, and I saw that I had one more question that I felt like I should answer here. Some of the questions I'm just answering on Instagram, but this is a good one because I was trying to touch on this earlier, but I don't think I did. And it is, how do you personally handle the pain of seemingly not being able to help a student? I don't experience any pain about not being able to help a student. I have worked with children with social and emotional and behavioral struggles for the duration of my career. So for, I think, tomorrow. Yeah, I think tomorrow would have been my first day at my job, my first job out of college, and that would be, tomorrow will make 11 years, I think. It's for sure 11 years, but I think it's tomorrow. It's definitely May. Yeah, I think it's 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe it's the 8th. Maybe it was May the 8th. 8, 9, 10, 11. And the 12th was the end of my first week. I don't know. But the fact is, I've been working with kids long enough that I'm at a place where I don't experience any pain. I cannot help every student. Even when kids really need counseling, but they refuse them and they do everything in their power to not go to counseling or not receive counseling, there's nothing that I can do about it, and I don't feel sorry for it, because the fact is, there are students who I see who are 100% benefiting from counseling services and all the other services that they get. And then there are some who are not into it and some who are not really benefiting from it. And the fact is, I mean, I guess this sounds kind of harsh, but I am not solely responsible for a child's well-being. So I play a small role in the grand scheme of things when it comes to helping children. And so, you know, if they're not receptive to their parents and whoever their caregivers are, or their teachers who they see every day, or principals and stuff, these people they see every day. I only pop in once a week at each school for a select amount of time. Like some schools, I'm only spending a few hours there because I have to go on to the next school. So I sleep well at night knowing that I show up, I'm consistent, I treat them with kindness, I treat them how I would expect anybody to treat my children or my child, and I really go above and beyond in trying to form a relationship with them and trying to help them. The kids who I'm talking about the kids who either come or the kids who don't come, I still put forth an effort in trying to get them comfortable with me, and I go above and beyond in that way, because not everybody does that. And if they're not receptive to me or my services, then that's just what it is. Again, I just play a small piece of the puzzle, and I can't save every child, and so I don't have any pain related to it. I honestly don't really think about it. I show up every day, like I said, same time, same place, consistent, same attitude. You know, I'm not wishy-washy in my attitude. If I'm aggravated, my kids aren't ever going to see that. I make sure I'm of decent spirits before I go to work, so they get the same me every time that they see me. And you know, it's the same time. If I have a kid scheduled for Tuesday at 9 a.m., I'm coming Tuesday at 9 a.m. Whether they want to come, whether they don't, whatever the case is, that's kind of up to them. But I feel like I show up ready to work every single day. There's not a day that I show up and I'm not ready to work. If I can't work, if I'm just not into it, which I'm rarely not into it, I just don't go to work. You know, I take off that day, that type of thing. But I'd say I was sick a little bit this school year, but for the most part, I'm showing up consistently every day. So yeah, I don't deal with the pain of it because I don't even think about it. I go to work, I do what I'm supposed to do, and I go home. And like I said, when it comes to school, I know kids spend a lot of time at school, probably have more time with their teachers and school personnel and staff than they do in any given day at home, because they probably go home, they might be home alone for a few hours until their parents get home or something. Or, you know, they're having dinner, getting ready for bed. So they probably, like, I spend more of my waking hours at work than I do at home. So they probably spend more of their waking hours at school than they do at home. And so school personnel do play a large role in the grand scheme of things. But me personally, and some people, they just don't play a huge role in the lives of the children, if that makes any sense. You know, I would assume a teacher plays a huge role, but me, I don't play that huge role. So I guess what I'm saying is, you know, nowhere in the rule book does it say that I must save every child or I must help every single child, but I show up consistently every day, and that's all. I go home and I sleep peacefully every single night, even if I was trying to help a student that day and they were tearing up some stuff and not receptive to services, and they maybe got suspended or they got put out or whatever. I'm advocating for them. I'm trying to help them. I don't hold anything against them if they don't want to come. Because the thing is, none of my kids dislike me. They just dislike the thought of counseling. I can hang out with them in a normal type of setting, and if I'm there long enough and it's productive enough, I can count it as a session. Like, sometimes I hang out in one classroom, in one special education classroom, and if I'm engaging with the student enough and he's going back and forth with me, I have mainly he's on my caseload, and I have one in mind. That's why I'm saying he, and it's productive. I can count that as a session. But if the student was in a crisis, they wouldn't come to me. If that particular student, if I say, hey, can we go take a walk and do an individual session or go to my room, he's not coming with me, and he just isn't really receptive to services. I can only squeeze in some teachable moments and stuff like that every now and again. But if it's not productive, I don't count it as a session. But I try my best, is what I'm saying. I try my best. I have kids in mind who are on home base right now. They're alternative school. You know, they bring weapons to school and they fight and cuss out people. These are the types of kids and the types of struggles that my kids have, and I can't stop them. I can help them if they're receptive, but if they're not, there's nothing that I can do, and I go above and beyond. And so that's how I deal with it. So I don't deal with the pain of it. I just show up every day and do my best, and I leave work and I leave it there, and I go home and I mind my business, and I start again the next day, which some people think is crazy. But the thing is, if I go home, I go to the gym, I go read, hang out at my pool, or hang out with my dog, go for a walk, and do those types of things, I'm going to be a better clinician the next day. I'm going to come to work the next day ready to rock and roll, which is how I can be so consistent, by leaving work at work. But I just had to delete some footage. I only deleted 1 minute clips, so that means that my memory card is about to be full again. So I'm really ending this video now. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye guys.